Nicola, I'm super excited meeting you here, totally unscripted. You have such an amazing background in fintech. Now you're going into open banking, open finance. But personally, what makes you feel that Berlin is the right place to be for you?
To be honest, I'm very excited about this festival, and it's a super great pleasure to meet you. Berlin has brought so many tech companies to life over the last number of years, and especially in fintech, which is kind of strange because Frankfurt is the finance place in Germany. But for some reason, we've sort of all gravitated to Berlin, and these are companies that are not new. So we have the Solarises, the N26s, the RatePays,
which we saw this morning.
And we saw this morning. And these are now significant contributors to Berlin as a place of work, for employment, for innovation. And I think bringing this all together in one place and seeing it all, seeing all these amazing people who are so smart yet responsible in what we build is cool.
Yeah, wonderful. I feel also that you are a great role model for a lot of women. So how did you end up in finance and in such a great leadership position?
I think, I was always interested in stuff that was new. And so in the late 90s, I was drawn into what was internet financial services. And at that time, no one believed that we would do anything with our finances on that internet, not paying with a credit card. And this technology wasn't great at that time, but we did things like online mortgages and that sort of started. And seeing technology evolve over time, and I left the industry for many years in between, but coming back to it about 8 years ago now, and really jumping in also on the technology and the regulation side has been a learning curve, but it's been great. So marrying technology, innovation, new business models with the responsibility of regulation, compliance, and the financial sector is to me super cool. And how I learned it was the hard way. I was drawn to PayPal, and I joined PayPal, and for the first 3 months I didn't understand a word anyone was saying, and then I thought I had it, and then I was in a meeting, and again it was pretty difficult. But after 6 months of intense learning, I had the lingo, I had the regulation, and the tech. So to anyone who isn't in fintech yet, which is unlikely considering this, the people here, but it's easier to get into if you're passionate about it. Like with everything, you want to do something, you do it.
So focus, passion, endurance is very important, and always learning, continuous learning makes you this
always
brilliant
learning.
leader you are today. And we have so much to learn. So what are your views about learning and AI in particular? We see now everywhere AI is a hype. It's a big buzz. What does it mean for fintech?
In our industry, we all work with smart data, and we have done it for a long time. It's mostly been machine learning, but we all have some version of AI already implemented in our models. I think generative AI is already used a lot in content marketing, and we've just heard in customer service. I think that's
Microsoft Copilot uses
it's much advanced. But when we're talking about data analytics and decisions made on financial data, we're not there yet. Models need to improve, and we need 100% accuracy in financial services, not 99. And so I think what I would be hoping for is more collaboration between everyone in an ecosystem to help us find the right way of working with AI on especially the decision making in financial services. And I think we're very much in the beginning. We have an AI lab which we work with large language models which are closed. But we have 12 years of data to go back on, and so we're working with it, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, in particular, as you mentioned, the regulation is not yet there, so all the regulators need to advance because tech is more advancing than regulation usually. And the latest news also, I heard you were telling me a bit over a coffee that you might come to Switzerland. Is that something you can tell us more about? Since I live in Switzerland, I would obviously love to have you in Switzerland.
I think the Swiss market is fascinating because it is not part of the EU, right? So the Swiss decide on their own regulation, and because we are now a group with another company called Indigit, and they've been working with Swiss banks for a while, we can now potentially bring our products to Switzerland as full, we are evaluating that. There's some relationships that already exist, so I'm excited to consider that and see how we can maybe enter a new market in Switzerland, which is, which would be new for us because working in the EU is easy. You can transport your license, etc. But getting the trust of Swiss people, as you know, is not easy, and so it would be a pleasure and a great compliment if we were able to work in the Swiss market.
Yeah, thanks a lot for revealing this top secret until today to us. So thanks for being here with me on the couch. It was lovely to meet you.
Fantastic, and thank you for your great work.
Thank you.